What's up, guys? Welcome back to Real Estate with John. Today, I wanted to go over some of the 5 steps that you can go ahead and use to get yourself ready for the market correction in real estate that's going to happen eventually. I'm not sure if it's going to happen in maybe 2021 or 2022, but it's definitely happening. And these steps that I'm going to go over can help the first-time home buyer, second time, or third, fourth, or fifth. These steps will help you get yourself in the best position for when the correction does happen, and you can grab as much real estate as possible for your situation. But anyways, enough looking at my hair, guys. Let's go ahead and get to the video. Blah! So guys, I would always get this question when it came down to what steps can you take or I take to get ready for purchasing your first house or purchasing maybe even your second house. But in the incoming future, I believe there is going to be a market correction. We're not going to see a huge dip like we did maybe back in 2008, 9, 10. But we are going to see a correction from these crazy price hikes that are coming up with real estate right now. You know, just these houses that are growing almost 10% a year, even more. It's not scalable. This can't keep going on forever. And when either forbearance ends or maybe the eviction ban ends, a lot more houses are gonna show up on the market. And so there will be a little bit of a plateauing, you could say, of the prices. So they're not gonna go ahead and keep climbing up. They may plateau, they may even dip a little bit and soften up. And this is the chance that a lot of first-time home buyers, especially if Biden's plan to allow a $15,000 first-time home credit does go through, we're gonna see a huge wave of first-time home buyers. And I wanted to go ahead and try to help as many as possible to get them in the best position to purchase, again, their first home when all these houses do go on the market. So guys, one of the big things that lenders do check when it comes down to purchasing a home, and one thing that you guys can go ahead and do and tackle right away, and the farther the market correction is, the better it is for you guys, is tackle debt. There's 2 kinds of debt that are pretty much out there. There's the good debt, which is when you're purchasing assets that are performing. It could be a rental property or a business that's putting money in your pocket, and again, creating an asset for you to own. And then there's the bad debt, which is consumer debt. Basically debt that's taking money out of your pocket, debt that's, just not helping you out. It could be either maybe, like you say, a car payment or credit card bills, stuff like that. Consumer debt that's not actually helping you out at all. And a big thing that lenders look for is something called debt to income. And basically what that is, that they check to see how much debt you have compared to the income that you're making. They want to see, exactly where you're at, what you can afford, and that really does affect the loan amount when it comes down to your payment. So that's one thing we can go ahead and tackle right away. And one thing that I always try to keep an eye on, I try to pay my credit cards off every month so I don't have any balances. And any other types of credit or loans, debt, anything like that, I try to pay it off every month right away, because then that helps with my credit scores. And again, it helps my debt to income ratio stay really, really, really low. So the next step that I like to go ahead and check out is my credit score. Let's go ahead and dive in. Credit scores, guys. Credit scores. How are they made? I'm not exactly quite sure. There's a lot of different factors to it. Utilization, credit history, on-time payments, how many inquiries you've had in a certain amount of time. So many different things get added. When banks report, lenders report, different types of loans that affect credit scores. There's so many different things that I think maybe Gandalf understands when it comes down to credit scores, but unfortunately, there's a lot of cloud and mystery to it. Myself, I know a couple different things that I always try to keep like a pretty good rule, and it's helped me out since. It's helped me purchase a couple properties since. So basically, when it comes down to my credit score, I try to keep it above 760. I've understood that when I try to apply for loans with different lenders or credit cards or any type of debt, I know that it takes a little hit on my credit score, but it always stays around 760 as long as I'm not doing that too often. And that's why I try to keep it at my target number. Again, between around 760, maybe 780. If it goes higher, great, but I'm not really tripping if it goes below 780, as long as it stays above 760, because that usually allows me to get some of the best products different types of lenders can offer for me. So it's not a big, I shouldn't say it's a huge deal to try to shoot for the perfect credit scores above 810, 820, way up there. go for something that you can definitely reach. You don't need to wait till you get to 800 before you can start applying to different lenders for different types of home loans. There's a bunch out there, guys. There's, depending on your situation, there's VA, FHA, conventional loans, loans and packages for everybody's needs. So guys, the next section I wanted to go ahead and talk about was income. Income's an important one. Let's say you find the property you want. You can barely afford the payment, but they allow you to go ahead and get the loan for it, and then you're all moved in. If something happens, maybe you need repairs to the roof, plumbing, electrical, who knows? You're gonna need money for that, and the last thing you wanna do is not be able to afford a repair on this brand new awesome property that you just purchased. So the last thing you wanna do is become house poor. So until the market correction does happen and the market does soften up a little bit, take this time to go ahead and increase your income as much as possible. Again, you don't wanna put yourself in a job you hate, but you definitely wanna go ahead and put yourself in a great position to where when you can purchase this property, when hopefully housing either plateaus or maybe softens with prices a little bit, you can afford it comfortably. You're not house poor. You can afford all the repairs that do come with home ownership. And you can just really live comfortably without having to worry about that monkey on your back of maybe you don't have money to do what you want to do normally, because it's all going to your property now. So again, let's go ahead and avoid being house poor, and let's be comfortable in this new property that we're gonna purchase when this market correction does occur. So guys, a huge step that I feel like a lot of people, or I should say a lot of people are held back on home ownership, is the down payment. I live in Sacramento, California, and houses around here are crazy expensive. And for a down payment to be just even 3.5% for an FHA is really expensive. And I understand that that's what holds a lot of people back from getting into home ownership. But the big thing I want to stress as much as possible is that if you do have the money to purchase or for a down payment, don't have it be all your money. I can't stress that enough. Don't have your whole savings, your life savings be your down payment, and then you put it into this house, especially in the market right now. It's a little bit wild, and so that's why I recommend, if possible, wait for a market correction or a softening of the market so your down payment can go farther, for whether it's less of your savings that you have or you get the house you want without it being all your savings. But again, I can't stress enough, don't use all your down payments or don't use all your savings for that down payment, whether it be the 3.5% for an FHA loan, or if you're going to go conventional or somewhere in between, like 20 and 3.5%. When you do move or when you do purchase a property, trust me, there's a lot of other expenses that do occur. You're going to have, moving costs. You can have repairs that happen to the house after you move in, renovation. Maybe you want to paint or add something to the house, and now you're going to need money, and you don't want to go into more debt to just do cosmetic changes to your house. That's the last thing you want to do. Remember, we want to try to avoid as much bad debt as possible. So don't use your down payment. Don't use your entire life savings to finish or to put down for a down payment. What I would suggest is, if you can, have at least 3 to 6 months of savings besides your down payment. So in case anything does happen after you do purchase this house, again, either it be a second property, third property, fourth, fifth, who knows what, but make sure you have savings for these properties, because in case something does happen, that's a lot of stress you don't have to worry about, and it gives you plenty of time to get back on your feet if it is like your own property and if you're not using it as a rental. Or again, if anything does happen, the last thing you want to do is have your savings drained. So again, I can't stress this enough. Don't use all your savings for your down payments. But on to the next one, guys. Here's the one that I feel like we all kind of overlook quite a bit, but it's a super, super important skill, quality, attribute, anything you want to call it. But what I like to call it, budgeting. Yeah, guys, I said the B word. Budgeting. Budgeting is super important when it comes down to home ownership. Whether it be a year from now, 2 years from now, you want to make sure you are on top of those budgeting skills. The last thing you want to go ahead and do is over budget or go over any kind of budgets, and then you kind of have to go back into debt, bad debt, consumer debt, credit card debt, payday loans, any of those kind of loans. We want to try to stay away from that as much as possible. So when you can budget all your expenses out. Use the information from maybe the previous months to find your averages for every category, whether it be groceries, gas, shopping, entertainment, whatever you want to go ahead and do your daily life, don't stop doing it. Just make sure you budget it so you're not stressing out at the end of the month. There's a lot of great apps that are out there for budgeting. I believe Dave Ramsey has an app. I think it's Every Dollar. I believe that's what it's called. There's a great free app from the guys over at Intuit called Mint. Great for budgeting. There's also a couple other really good apps when it comes down to budgeting as well. Another one I would suggest is maybe you want to check it out. Personal Capital. That's a little bit more on the investing side. Watching your net worth. Mint has that stuff too, but Mint is also really great at budgeting. So I would go ahead and check those apps out. They'll definitely want to go ahead and help you out getting on the right track for budgeting. But yeah, like I was trying to mention, budgeting is super important when it comes down to home ownership, just because it helps relieve a lot of stress. You're not worried about where your money's at, and to make sure your money's working for you. And all these properties that you're gonna have, whether you're gonna be a real estate investor, a real estate agent, broker, who knows what. But when you can control your money works for you. All right, guys, well, hey, those are my 5 steps that I'm gonna go ahead and do. And what I would suggest to all my friends and family, if they wanna go ahead and get themselves ready and prepared for when the market correction does happen. Again, I don't necessarily believe it's gonna be a dip like we had back in 2008, 2009, 2010. I think it's just gonna soften up. Prices may plateau, may even soften in some areas. But again, I can't say for sure. I don't know when it's gonna happen. I don't have a crystal ball that's gonna tell me the exact date, but I know what I can do is get ready now to make sure I'm in the best position to grab up as many real estate properties that I can. Again, this is my goal, this is my dream. I wanna grow my portfolio. I wanna stop working when I get to 40, 45, just be done, travel, spend time with my family, and do what's awesome. But anyways, guys, those are my 5 steps to go ahead and get myself ready for the market correction that's gonna happen in the future. And I hope you guys learned something. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, hit me up below, guys. If you really like this content, go ahead and hit that like button, smash that like button, destroy the like button if you like this content. If you want more, subscribe. I try to push out stuff every week just so I can go ahead and get you guys the latest information and all this great information that's gonna be coming out for the real estate market, guys. But hey, again, thanks so much for watching. Have a good one.